progress is made progressively from spring to fall, and where you feel you're at going into the season?
We'll see Friday, right? I mean, I think that we've progressed well, in my opinion, in practice. Practice is different than games, and so we'll see where we're at when we play Friday. I mean, I expect kids to do the same thing they've been doing at practice, but, it doesn't always correlate. Sometimes it does.
How's the timing and the sync looking in the passing game, quarterbacks and receivers the last couple of weeks?
It looks good. I mean, our passing game has come along. We need, obviously, we're not sitting here, and I've said this multiple times, we don't have a 100 reception guy coming back, right? So we got to find out who our dudes are, and I think we have a good idea, but I think that I'd like to be pleasantly surprised by some guys too, right? So, got to make plays in games. That's the facts. And so.
And how's the running game going, and do you have a good idea how you're going to be able to balance the passing and running attack?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's fairly easy. I mean, we have a group of running backs that are really talented. It's probably, one of the more talented rooms we have, to be honest with you. And so I feel good about multiple guys playing. It will be running back by committee. I mean, somebody's got to run out there first, obviously. But I mean, we have multiple guys that can carry the rock. So it will be running back by committee, and balancing that, it's pretty easy. I mean, if you're having success, keep doing what you're doing, and if you're not, change it.
At the tight end position, obviously a lot of draft talent. What have you seen from Jaleel and what he can do?
Jaleel's a very athletic kid. He's probably, as far as routes and speed and all that stuff, I mean, he's, really, really good. Jaleel just needs to gain weight and just eat and work out, because all the other stuff is pretty easy for him. If he gets bigger, which he will, he just needs to follow me around and eat what I eat, and he'll be fine. I don't know how hard is it, I mean, right? See, some of you guys have the same issue.
Also, Elijah Arroyo at this point.
He's good. He's, I'm excited about Elijah, to be honest with you. He's very talented, very versatile guy, and very confident guy. I'm excited to watch him play.
I see, at least from our limited availability, we hadn't really seen him out there at all. I know he did not play in the scrimmage we saw at Hard Rock. Mm-hmm. How much has he actually gotten in there and practiced?
He's been practicing as much as anybody else. I mean, we roll people through there, especially in groups that are deep. If you asked me how many reps, I wouldn't be able to tell you that. But I mean, it's the same way with running backs. I mean, we roll 4 people in. I mean, you could look out there and see 4 different guys with the ones.
What stands out about Miami of Ohio's defense, just from what you've seen?
Very sound. I mean, they're not overly complicated on first and second down, which I'll be honest with you, you say that, and I don't know how people take it, but some of the best defenses I've gone against in my career have been fairly simple defenses, and they know their strengths, they know their weaknesses, they know where you're going to attack them. They're very, very, very experienced. They got a lot of returning starters back. They do a great job of stopping the run. I mean, that's proven almost every game they play, besides a couple outliers. But ultimately, they're going to stop the run. In their mind, they're going to stop the run. And so we have to be physical. We have to be very precise route running and timing, because there are windows there, but they're not big. Those guys understand what coverage they play and where you're going to attack them. And so efficiency is key. It's just when you play a very experienced defense that really doesn't do a whole lot, they're typically pretty good at what they do. And so you just got to strategically attack them and keep plugging away, really.
It seems like this freshman class is very driven, very competitive. So what have you seen, how do they compare to other freshman classes that you've coached?
Yeah, it's a tough question. I mean, I agree. I mean, I think they're probably more talented than a lot of them, but I think you're going to see a lot of them play. That's the key. It's hard to play as a freshman, and so a lot of those guys have proven in camp that we can trust them, and have proven that they can make plays. Again, there's a threshold of making plays in practice and making plays in the game. That's why when coaches talk about experience, that's what experience means, right? That people have made a lot of plays in the game and have banked a lot of reps. Well, we have some guys that haven't. And so what you can expect is, you know, you're going to have some issues, you know. I mean, they're not going to go out there and be perfect. I'm not going to be perfect. Nobody is. So we got to weather some ups and downs, and we got to make more plays than we don't. You
talked a little bit about a number one receiver, 100 reception kind of guy. Is that something that you allow? You've had guys put up some pretty monster stats in past seasons. Is that something that happens organically?
Yeah, it does.
Or can you kind of steer that with your play calling?
Well, I mean, I think it happens both. I mean, they rise organically, you know, because ultimately you sit there and you play games and you practice, you play games and you practice, and ultimately there's some consistency that wins over time with certain guys. And so organically they become the better players. Now, with that being said, you know, then you have to start putting them in position where they get targeted more because defenses are going to take them away more. So the more clout a guy has, you know, with opposing teams and nationally, the more recognition he's going to have as far as what they're going to try to take away. So that becomes more of a game plan deal of trying to hide him and trying to move him around. But ultimately they raise, I mean, you know, the cream's going to rise on its own, you know, organically. But then you got to kind of cultivate it in a way where he keeps getting touches.
Emory and Jakari showed as the backups this fall camp?
I think both of them have taken major strides, to be honest with you. You know, I mean, they're both, you know, working on different things. I mean, like everybody, I mean, nobody's the same, right? And so Emory is one of the guys that my man was talking about over here. I mean, obviously he's a freshman, right? And so this is his first year in college, and, you know, there's things that come along with that that are different than people that have been here for 2 or 3 years. And so learning the offense, obviously, they were both here when I got here, and so they both have a really good grasp on what we're doing. Been very pleased with both of them, you know. I feel confident with both of those guys, to be honest with you.
Anything else?